Hey, so I don't know if I'm going to post this, but I did want to give like an overall idea of like what I've been doing to voice train, and I want to clarify that I'm not like a vocal coach at all. And like I strongly believe that if you have the ability to see a vocal coach or anybody who is able to work with your voice professionally, then absolutely do that. The reason why is that there are thousands and thousands of techniques for vocal training. And a lot of them have the tendency for when you do one of them, they like pull up other aspects of your voice and generally get to a similar location, right? Um, so and what works for your voice is going to change. And so, what you are getting when you get an actual professional vocal coach is not like the secret knowledge about the techniques. It's the feedback of listening to your voice, listening to how it's developing, and being like, okay, now try this exercise because that is what is going to pull up some things, and like working with them and trying things out and like having them guide you to the opportunities and the things about your voice that are correct. It's not one formula. That said, I did want to like detail what I've been doing because my vocal coach used some things with me and they explicitly said, I don't do this with a lot of people. This doesn't work for a lot of people, but like your voice really benefited from that. I think it's an example of why voice training is good because a lot of this stuff is things that like I would have not necessarily thought was the main thing on my own. So I'm first going to run through like a lot of what didn't work. So first of all, screw pitch. I'm not saying screw pitch because pitch doesn't matter. I'm saying screw pitch because pitch oftentimes follows at least a little from the other stuff you do to your voice as you work on like weight and size, resonance, and all that. Like, it's very difficult to do all of that without changing your pitch at least a little. And so, as you develop over time, your pitch will go up a bit. And if you want your pitch to be higher than what you end up with, then like I would say do it as a finishing step because you don't know how far, or at least again, this is what I've been doing. Like if I want to worry about pitch at all, which I'm not sure I will because I do like a deeper feminine voice, um, I would say like have it as your final step. Um, that said, like this is the kind of stuff that like I know doesn't work for me. So I'm going to try to replicate what my voice used to sound like, but it's not really going to be that accurate. So I'm going to go down to hello, hello. So this is probably a bit closer to what my voice used to sound like. I don't think it's exactly like it at all. I feel like I've entirely lost my actual masculine voice, but this is probably what it was. I think this is like deeper pitch, but at this point, like I have to make it deeper pitch to get a similar kind of resonance. What did not work for me was over focusing on the larynx. So from here, I would do a lot of unvoiced exercises like whisper slides. So it'd go like, hello, hello, hello. And that would like, yeah, and that would generally end up somewhere around here and I would alter things. Again, I'm replicating things that like I can't really do. And then sometimes I'd have a customer service voice that was just high, breathy, and light. And this was all from like over focusing on I'm slipping back into the voice that I've trained. Yeah, again, this is the natural state that I'm in, but whatever. All of those things you just heard in rapid fire were a result of me like over focusing on the larynx and over focusing on like unvoiced whispers mostly. Those work for a lot of people. I know they work for a lot of people, but I never got the correct results with them. Like something about like mentally or physically like wasn't happening for me. So instead, I really wanted to focus on like brightness and like where my voice is in terms of like instead of focusing on getting my resonating chambers up in my throat, focus on getting them like forward in my head. And that's where like overemphasizing musality comes in. Not as a goal, not as the target, but as an exercise. So a lot of what I would do is really going for this like kind of like humming through my nose just to explore the cavities and like explore what that kind of thing felt like. That was actually like, I would literally do this like, again, not something that most people recommend, but like, these like, no, no, hello, hello, hello. I'm really trying to overemphasize the nasality. And mostly what this did is this helped me reconfigure like how I was feeling out a lot of the things in my voice and how I was doing things. Now, obviously, this voice is fucking annoying as shit. And this is never anything that I would want to speak with at all. But then I take this and I try to just like then take it so that a lot of it feels like it's resonating in similar spots to that, but I kind of just like clean it up, tone it down, and let it almost settle. And that's what I do now. This is kind of my default voice that I'm speaking with right now. This is like no thought, no whatever. This is what comes out of my mouth. Now, if I'm speaking for a long time after a long day, and occasionally will slip down to something that's like a bit lower and a bit worse. And then if I'm like really focusing and exercising, I can make it higher and brighter and lighter. This is kind of like what I do as like my exercise or my full focus voice. It also comes out sometimes as like my customer service voice. And the interesting thing is that I have these 2 points right now where I have this like full focus voice and then I have like the voice that I slip to after a long day, and my default voice has rested between those two for a long time. And as I practice more and more, my default voice has essentially, like, now I'm sliding back down to my default voice. My default voice has essentially sounded more and more feminine over time, and has fallen more within the feminine end of those two extremes. Again, I'm condensing down like months of formal voice training down into a video that is as short as I can. And I don't necessarily think that you should be doing this. Like, obviously, I'm very poorly explaining it. And there's a lot more individual exercises that, like, I did not describe, I did not do. There's a lot I did with my tongue. There's, like, specific phrases that I would use. Right now, I go, like, or yeah, to kind of reset my voice a little. Those are things that, like, I can very easily, those are, like, normal things I can do to, like, reset the nasality and, like, bring my voice forward a little bit. So I'm saying like a lot more in random conversation as like a filler now. And that's partially a way to just like reset my voice if I notice it's been slipping. Yeah. And again, there's like specific phrases I'm not running through. I don't even want, I want to respect my vocal coach's like privacy and techniques in some ways. But yeah, that's what's been working for me. And it's not even just like that. I'm especially proud of my voice now, but I'm very proud of the trajectory it's been on and how much less mental effort and physical effort I have to exert to actually maintain a voice that sounds a little bit like me. Obviously, over the course of this video, I have also noticed that it is slipping. Again, as I said, it slips between those 2 points, but the slipping has been continually getting less and less, and it's been easier and easier to maintain these kinds of voices over time. So, I don't know. That's at least my explanation for like what I've been doing. And again, I'm like not an authority on this, and I really think that like this won't work for most people, but it's just the subset of like the thousands and thousands of things, an enormous amount of information that's bombarded at you that did work for me and did get me some of the results I wanted and continues to get me results as I train more and build up more. So again, not an authority, just demonstrating what I've done for myself.